Okay, what up ladies and gents, your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully your favorite official content creator for First Descendant, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to build a Launcher Gley build using the Restored Relic. This can create some very fun situations by, blowing everything up, but it is slow and inefficient compared to Ines, alright? I want to be upfront with that. I'm doing this because a lot of people said, can you make a Launcher Gley build? I said, yes, I can. But as you know, I'm that guy that only focuses on efficiency, so I don't really build builds that are for fun. But since we're all sort of waiting for the next bit of content, I figured I may as well make some. So this is what I've made, and I will show you how it works and all that. But I also want to show you the benchmarks so that you can understand just how much slower than a Ines build this Gley build is. All right. So let's get started. Oh, and before you do anything else, if you haven't already registered me as your creator, please make sure you do so. Link is in the video description. All right, let's get started. First and foremost, let's do a little benchmarking exercise. If you guys have not yet seen the benchmarks, well, here they are. Okay, I will explain and go through them, but plain and simple, I think you can see and understand what I've written up there. I tested several activities. I mainly focused on the 400%, the Void Erosion rank 19 and 20, and the special operations. I did this so that we could get an idea of just how much slower Gley would be in comparison to, say, Ines, who is the baseline. Now, I could have used another character as the baseline, but I think it would not have been a fair test because right now the best farmer, the fastest farmer is Ines. All right. She has the fastest timings out of everybody else. If we use Bunny, the skew would not have been as bad, but still there is, quite a bit of delay on Gley's part. So let me walk you through all that. All right. Let me go through step by step. For the 400%, as you can see, Ines, all right, took only about 4 minutes for both Chapel and Mystery's End. She took about 4 minutes and 30 seconds here. All right, about 4 minutes and 9 seconds here. But Gley took almost 6 minutes. That is 1.5 times, okay, longer than Ines. And for the Mystery's End, she took 8 minutes clearing it with the Restored Relic. Okay. Now, of course, the 400% have changed, but I will still do a little demonstration later of how the build works. For Void Erosion rank 19 and rank 20, Gley took about 1.7 times as long to clear both of them. Okay, so Ines was about 188 seconds, which is about 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Gley took almost 5 minutes and 18 seconds. So it's not that she can't do these activities, all right? She can, but she takes longer. She takes way longer to do any of these. I do have to also say, though, one little thing is that for all of these activities, I use nothing but the Restored Relic. Theoretically, you can achieve a slightly faster time by having another weapon like the Excava or something else to help supplement what Gley can do. So against certain elites where you need to like really burst them down, you could maybe have the Thunder Cage or whatever. The world's your oyster. You can do whatever you feel like. But if you have another weapon, you can basically use the Restored Relic mainly just for the AoE explosions. But what really slows her down is the fact that when you activate her lethality, her super sensory, she basically becomes very, very slow. All right, and that creates problems. You basically have to roll to get anywhere, which is annoying. So, like I said, not really efficient, but if you want to see explosions, this is the way to do it. All right. The special operations were the worst. For the block kyber mining, she took almost double the time. So Ines took 11 minutes and 21 seconds. Gley took 22 minutes. Okay. But this is using only the Restored Relic. For the defense, the skew was about 1.6 times. So Ines took about 9 minutes, 13 seconds. Gley took about 15 minutes took about 15 minutes. That being said, I do have to say that in Gley's particular situation, because the special operations defense missions were done in public, Gley's skew for that one would have been a lot less if I had an Ines on the team or a proper team. Instead, I had 2 level 1s on the team, so basically I had to do all the work, so that's why that one took longer. I actually believe the skew would have been less for the defense mission. Okay, now that you understand the benchmarks and how Gley compares to them, how do you actually build this build? How do you actually go into it? All right, I'm going to go through all the components. I'm going to remove my camera so that I can go through all of them with you. Here we go. With the reactor, okay, please, now I'm using this because this is the only gold roll that I have for skill cooldown and skill duration up. You're going to need both of these, all right? But ideally, what you want is a non-attribute dimension reactor. It looks like this. You want non-attribute dimension, okay? But the rolls need to be skill cooldown and skill duration up because this is the only way that you can get Gley to have essentially unlimited ammo. For her external components, I'm using a full annihilation set. This is pretty standard because, well, although the firearm attack from the annihilation set doesn't benefit her, okay, I felt that this was still the most useful. And if you do not want a full annihilation set, that's fine. But please make sure that you at least have a 2-set effect for the additional skill duration. If you don't care about the 4-set effect, that's fine. The 4-set effect does not affect launchers because it says firearm attack. As you know, launchers operate based off explosive attack, all right? So if you don't want to use a full annihilation set, that's totally okay. You can replace 2 pieces for anything, but make sure you keep at least 2 sets of the annihilation effect, all right? For the external components, your auxiliary power needs max HP, and then you can have a resistance roll. I just happen to have MP recovery out of combat says there. But Gley doesn't use MP, so all you really need is max HP, and the other roll can be whatever you want. A lot of people like to use elemental resistance as their alternate roll. Same thing here for the annihilation sensor. You can use HP recovery modifier and then a resistance roll. Okay, so for the memory, defense, and then a resistance roll. And then for the annihilation processor, you can have equipment drop rate and a resistance roll or whatever else you want, because this one you don't need the max shield. Okay, so that is basically it for the external components. Now for the weapon, you are going to use the Restored Relic. I'm going to go through the Restored Relic's specific build, okay, and all its factors and stuff. This is what I've got in terms of the modules for the Restored Relic. Why am I using these? Because rifling reinforcement, explosive attack from action and reaction. I use bullet integration because I felt that this gave me the best bang for my buck. Although the crit rate isn't that high and there isn't a great multiplier, I still felt that it was better to have some crit on this. I then built fire enhancement and fire priority onto this because the Restored Relic has baseline 87,000 fire attack, so it would be very silly not to capitalize on that with fire priority and fire enhancement. You also want increased radius and ammo optimization to basically make your explosion radius massive. All right, this will prevent you from seeing anything on the screen, but it will literally detonate everything that you can possibly see. In terms of the ultimate module, I didn't really have any other choices, but if you have a good idea of what I should put on in place of this, let me know. I slapped on lethal finish because I felt that it would do really well, and better concentration. If you do not like lethal finish, you can actually just replace this with better insight, slightly less crit rate, but it applies 24/7 all the time. The choice is really yours, because with Gley I've got unlimited ammo, and since I don't don't have to reload, I felt the lethal finish worked better, but could be my misunderstanding of this either way. But 45 is better than 33. However, if I'll run the build without it just so to show you it's the same build anyway. Okay, you can swap either of these two, play around with it, see which one you like better. I liked lethal finish, but if you don't like it, then by all means put better insight on. Okay, you will get the exact same results. You only need 9 catalysts for this build because you don't have to catalyze the slot with ammo optimization, but you can if you want to. I actually spent a 10th catalyst on this. The other alternative, and the only other alternative that I would consider, is if you don't care about better insight as well, you can use the heat circulation, okay? And whenever you inflict a burn, it will increase your fire attack by a large amount. You can utilize this if you want, but I felt it was not really necessary since this pretty much did everything I needed it to, okay? So this is what I've got. Oh, some people have suggested using Defense Master. You can, I guess. I don't see the need for it, but if you want to, I guess you could replace Better Insight with that. But so far, this is done well enough for me. Okay. Now, in terms of its base stats and all the rolls and everything, okay, for the Restored Relic, your weapon rolls, I rolled 1 for every single faction and for explosive attack. I didn't roll anything for crits and whatnot because, realistically speaking, I'm not doing anything in relation to that. I felt it was better to be able to hurt each of the factions because I'm not using this for Colossi. I'm using this strictly for mobbing. So I rolled 1 of every faction and explosive attack. If you would prefer to roll crits on this, you can go ahead and do so, but the crit multiplier isn't high anyway, and I'm not relying on crit. And of course, I didn't roll Colossus because I have no intention of taking this against a Colossus. All right, for its cores, okay, I rolled 3 fire attack gold rolls and 1 explosive attack. Now, the explosive attack, I would technically have changed over to fire attack, but I ran out of cores. So if you want to, please change the explosive attack over to fire attack. All right. But this is good enough and this will work. For the 1 green slot down there, the green cerulean slot, I've got fire rate maxed out because, again, with Gley, I want to be able to fire as much as possible. All right. Now, for Gley's launcher build, you all should be familiar with this. If you are not familiar with Gley's launcher build, then, well, I'll go through it with you anyway. For the Transcendent mod, I use Explosive Life. This is if you manage to get a non-attribute dimension reactor with a launcher mounting, of course. You will actually be able to use this because you will create a lot of life orbs when you're detonating all these people with your launcher, and then you can just trigger this and get some extra explosions and dish out even more damage, which is kind of nice. All right, so use this because it's pretty funny with this build. Either way, none of the other Transcendents are going to benefit you. Mainly, you're just using your frenzied state along with increased sensory, and that's pretty much it. So the explosive life is just extra if you want to. You don't rely on your power of life for anything. So, yeah. For the actual modules, I was using Stim Accelerant, increase HP. These 2 are your survival. Okay, so these 2 are your survival. Gley doesn't use MP, so the negative effect doesn't matter. Increase defense because you're not really using skills here, so this gives you the best defense out of everything. Auto immunity gives you more HP recovery and reduces the damage you take. HP collector will keep you alive. You've got maximized duration skill extension in order to assist your increased sensory. You want nimble fingers and MP conversion in order to make sure that you reduce the cooldown as much as possible. Last but not least, you can just throw in a unleveled focus mod. So I just use focus on attribute, but it doesn't really matter what you throw in. It can be unleveled because even unleveled, it will give you the skill cooldown of minus 6.1. So this will basically help you match the cooldowns and the duration of your increased sensory so you have unlimited ammo, essentially. All right, that's pretty much what you want. Now, the only other thing that I would say is that if you really want to, you can drop auto immunity and get another focus module on, like focus on whatever, all right, unleveled, and you can drop the cooldown further because here there's a 0.2 second delay between triggers, but if you really want to drop it down perfectly, you can as well. All right, but this is what I found works best for me. All right, and I'll demonstrate it in the field. Okay, that is it for Gley. That is it for the launcher. That is it for everything. You've been taught everything you need to know to have fun with this build. Now, let's actually go out and have some fun with this build. So, there's going to be 2 demonstrations that I will do. The first demonstration is going to be a 400%. All right, so we're going to go in and do exactly that. Asylum, Magister Lab. So as to not waste your time, I'll just do Magister Lab because it'll be nice and fast. But the Asylum is actually very good. If you haven't already run it for your Hammer and Anvil parts, you might want to do that. Okay, let's go. After this, I will also demonstrate the Void Erosion Purge so that you can see how that works. But what I will say again is that if you've got an S, just use an S. Unless you are really bored and you want to have fun. The cool part about this, though, is the Aura Walk. All right, you can actually just Aura Walk through the content while blowing stuff up, which a lot of people found funny, and that's why they wanted this build. So, there you go. You can quite literally just walk through stuff and blast your way through things. If you need to move quickly, just roll. All right.
Will not be.
Remember to trigger your stuff again so that you retain your limitless ammo.
I smell death.
With this thing, you are very, very unlikely to die or have any problems. So basically just have fun. Blast everything that you don't like and just carry on. The main problem that you are going to encounter with this is just how slow she is. Okay, other than aura walking everywhere, you can roll around. Alright, this will give you a semblance of normal movement speed, but again, well, it's not exactly the same as a proper farming build, but still, it is quite hilarious being able to do this. You won't be able to see anything, but you will be able to do this. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not using the explosive life, it's because my reactor obviously doesn't suit it, and I didn't want to farm a reactor just for this, but if you do farm a good reactor, you can use it. Like in a situation like this, you can sort of trigger it, kind of act like a necromancer doing corpse explosion. So that's pretty cool, but yeah, it's just a little bit of a gimmick. You know, a little fun little extra gimmick that you can have with this. The main thing is just keep up your launcher shots and then blast everything into oblivion. I usually just rely on my radar to tell me, hey, there's stuff around here, blow it up. Because you aren't going to be able to see anything. Alright? You will see nothing and nobody. Okay. Now, again, you would probably benefit from having a proper single target damage weapon when taking these guys on, but you can still do it with Restored Relic. That's that you might not actually be able to see the target very well, so shoot in their general direction and you should be fine. Okay, there you go. Greg's clone is dead.
I smell death.
Ledras. Out of my way. There you go. So that took me about 4 minutes. Still slower than most of the fast clears with Bunny and all that. So you are always going to be slower with this. So playing this is more of a fun factor, I guess, if you really, really want to use the launcher, you know, but ultimately you are going to be slower. So just, you got to kind of accept that. You got to just accept and live with it. Okay, next I will do a Void Erosion Purge. We'll just do a 19 because it's a lot faster, but if you guys need to see the 20, ask. I'll link you to the stream and you can watch it because we did all of these live on stream. I did all the benchmarking live on stream. So there's always proof of work. Now let's go. Excuse me.
It's all over.
even for the void erosions, same principle applies. Just go around detonating your enemies. As long as you know the general direction of them, you'll be fine. Just, yeah, blast them. And try to avoid going too close. The big problem is that if you cannot see the area properly, you may end up getting hit by a Vulgus grenade. So that would probably be the biggest downside to this. But you can more or less just aura walk through. Excuse me, good sirs. Don't mind me.
Loading.
Oops. Accidentally did that. Didn't mean to. Lol. Okay, this is pretty bad. Come on, get out of that. Okay, that was a bit of a screw up, but please don't accidentally trigger Massacre. It's gonna be bad for your health. Alright. That is what we call fat fingering the button. Don't fat finger the button. As long as you don't do what I just did and mess up like that, most of the time you won't have a problem. You'll just literally walk through. If you really need to dodge attacks or you feel like you're getting hit too much, just jump a little bit. That'll pretty much solve all your problems.
Will not be.
Something like that. It's not necessary if you want to look like a badass in front of your friends and just sort of walk through everything. But, well, you can also jump. That being said, as you can see, you're losing a lot of time on the fact that she walks everywhere. Whereas an ass is just like, you know, speed running the whole thing. Same with Bunny, so yeah. They have a much easier time. Now, keeping in mind the fact that these guys are all quite literally resistant to fire, since it's their own element, you'll actually do quite well here. Now, I personally would prefer to have like a different weapon, but I'm here to show you the Restored Relic with this build. So, deaths, don't worry about it too much. You will die once or twice, but in the long term, it's not going to bother you. However, again, I would recommend bringing along a proper weapon. You probably want one of those, because that'll actually help you out. Like, bring a good single target weapon, and basically you're good to go. Heck, even the Python's not a horrible choice. You can actually bring that along for your single target and just like spray down the bosses with limitless ammo.
Damn it.
Because doing this is a bit inefficient, but there you go. Alright, so demonstration is completed. I hope you guys will enjoy this build. I hope that it will help you guys achieve whatever you want to achieve. But for now, thank you very much for watching this. Let me know if you enjoy it. And again, you know, I'm doing this because you folks asked me to make you a launcher build so you can enjoy, but do I like it? No. I don't understand why anyone would want to play it because it's so slow, but hey, it's your choice, man. If you want to have a little fun, who am I to stop that, right? Okay, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, if you guys would like to take a moment, please do help me thank our lovely top supporters for February. The list has already begun. Top tipper is CG Mayhem with $400 in tips. Super chatter, top super chatter is Lawbreaker. Top super chatter list includes CU Yuri, Sir Tommy, and Per Crab, as well as Rafi Jana. Top channel membership gifter is Jody Wilkins. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, don't do anything weird while I'm gone, and certainly don't aura walk everywhere. All right, catch you later.